everyone to episode 93 of the internet web sensation known as Triple Threat Talk. I'm Gary the Dr. Locker, joined always by Just Kendra.
Hey!
Peon, Big B, Brandon DeMuro, and Jimmy, Postmaster Jones.
Episode 93. Where have we started here? It should have ended at the pizza place and then stayed there.
Then never would have got started.
That guy that was saying keep quiet, he was right.
Yeah, keep quiet, keep
I
quiet.
think it was talking to you.
Where's that guy anyway?
I don't know.
We need to find him.
I'd like to find
Let's
him.
go back to the pizza place, I'm sure he's there.
Punch him in the mouth.
Be like, hey, look at us now.
You gotta think, he's the same moron that
I wrote a letter.
and we were in the freaking Velocity, I think. We were mentioned by name.
Yeah.
Your name, fella.
Me and Jimmy were mentioned by name.
Yes.
Because he was that fond of it.
Yes,
Not
that's right.
really.
But I'll tell you who is fond of us. Our viewers.
That's true.
Lovely segue there.
And so they asked a lot. Over 20 plus comments and questions this week. Thank you for that awesome feedback. It's great to see. And so with that, we'll get right into questions here. And the first question is from Richard Kenobi.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Glad to
Hope
see
you're feeling better.
Glad to see you're doing better. Glad to see you rejoin the show. We've missed your commentary. So with that, he has a question regarding John Cena.
Oh, of course.
And he wants to know if John Cena does win the title this Sunday, will he keep the? Basically, he's asking, will he keep the title for a long while, or will it be short-lived?
I think it'll be for a long while. It's kind of funny that you think about it now, but Cena hasn't been champion since, 2011? And for John Cena, that's a long time, especially since he's been champion so many times. I think once he beats The Rock this Sunday, which, we'll do our picks later on, but I think that's what's going to...
Are you for...
Well, it's later. It's
premature there.
But yeah, I think...
He's the expert on premature.
Anyway... Like I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted.
I didn't find anything rude.
Quiet. Obviously when he beats The Rock this Sunday, I think they're not. If he holds his off for a short time, it's going to look like the win wasn't as significant. I think they want this to be a huge win for John Cena. Him beating The Rock after losing last year, losing everything as he said before, his divorce and all this other stuff. His career's kind of gone a different path since he lost to The Rock last year. So I think they're going to have him hold the title for a little while. And we'll see who he faces in that time being. Maybe Punk if he tends to take time off. Maybe Jericho. We'll see what happens. So
yeah, we'll see what happens. I think he'll hold the title for, unfortunately, at least 3 or 4 months.
I look for him to hold it for a while. I think, like I said last week, when we get into pick'ems, I have my reasons, and we'll talk about that. From Against All Odds 20, what do you think of this Undertaker versus Punk storyline? And what would it have been like if Paul Bearer had never passed away? Would it have been something similar or something different?
Well, I think obviously it would have been something different if he didn't unfortunately pass away, because they were using his passing to fuel the fire for this feud, especially what happened on Monday with the urn and that stuff. So, I hate saying this because it sounds kind of terrible to say, but I think the feud got a little more juicy and interesting because of his passing. Unfortunately, obviously, but the things they're doing are kind of it's edgy. It's something that people are kind of like, whoa, you shouldn't be doing that, but it's getting people to talk about, and that's what WWE's been all about.
They got permission.
Yeah, well, I got permission too. So I mean, again, what would they have done if he didn't pass away? I don't know. Maybe something like I'm the best in the world, and kind of probably just repeating what he always says. But I think maybe this is kind of not a blessing, but it's giving them a chance to do something a little bit different, because what they're doing is kind of maybe putting people in the wrong place. They're kind of like, I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but it's giving them something people are talking about.
Punk, the week before Paul Bearer passed away, Punk made a statement when he was going on his almost anti-Semitic tirade about how he was God and all that stuff. I think what they were going to do with that before Paul Bearer passed away was Undertaker was going to come out and say, well, if you're God, I'm the devil. I think that's probably where they were going to go with that.
Could be.
But I don't like... I don't like that. Obviously, no one likes that Paul Bearer passed away.
Right,
it's very sad. But with the direction that they're going with it, I think we said on the show before that Undertaker was going to lose at WrestleMania because he was going to have all this going on. Sorry, I lost the train of thought. I don't know why. Anyways, that he was going to have all this going on and he was going to lose to The Undertaker, okay? Mm-hmm. Now that Paul Bear has passed away, I think that The Undertaker will win. And I think that they will go. I think that they will let him go a perfect 21-0. And that'll be the end of it.
I think, like you all said, it definitely would have been different. Obviously, they were, like the doc said, they were going down one way and they went another. So.
Right.
Also, from Against All Odds 20, what are you guys' thoughts on Reed Flair passing away?
Obviously, when I first saw that, I saw Flair. I was like, "Oh God!" I thought Ric Flair was gone. I heard he was problems in the hospital. It was his son that passed away. His son was only 24 years old, which is way too young. Really tragic. His son did have history of overdosing, so that was didn't help the cause. Obviously, thoughts and prayers with the Flair family at this time. Obviously, difficult to lose someone lose your son at that young of age. It's just his life didn't even get started. 24 is way too young to go, and I mean I'm 25 and I haven't even hit my stride yet. So I mean 24 is just what are you looking at him for?
I don't know.
Nothing.
25 is young, is it not?
No, it is.
Okay then. So what are you making faces for?
Nothing.
No, I want you to answer this out.
You said I think you hadn't hit your stride yet.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to say.
I was just like, well, I thought you'd already hit full stride.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's just a hard thing to I don't know obviously what they're going through. It's just to lose someone that young and someone that's your son. It's just I don't know how you would handle that, to be honest.
Yeah, no parent ever wants to outlive their kids. So that's
it's not meant to happen.
Yeah.
From the Bucky and 5.
Oh, okay.
Miss Kendra.
Yes, sir.
What are some of your favorite books to read?
Well, this is one book. It's by C.S. Lewis. It's called Screw Tape Letters.
Screw.
Did he write that before or after Chronicles of Narnia?
Before.
Okay.
And it's basically where he's writing letters. He's writing on a letter, and the devil's writing back to him on the pad. I'm not one of those type people, but it's an interesting book. I like to read like dramas, and of course, The Hunger Games. I read The Hunger Games, and I also read the Vampire Twilight. I read the books of those before the movies. Whatever, and that's really good. So I like to read like a romantic. I'm a hopeless romantic, so I like to read romantic stories.
The Bible?
Yeah, I read the Bible. I did that. Yeah. Not as much as I should, but I do. So,
Big B?
Yeah.
Like the Hunger Games. I used to read the Harry Potter books when I was younger.
Oh, yeah.
I lost interest in them. I don't know what it was. Just I couldn't get into them as much. I don't know what it was.
Your attention
Books are
span
awesome.
got shorter.
I guess.
That's what it was.
I guess.
The books are good.
I still need to. I want to read Perks of Being a Wallflower. I saw the movie. I do want to read the book.
What is it?
Perks of Being a Wallflower. Was a movie.
You get picked and thrown aside.
Yes, exactly. This is my life.
It's not a perk.
But I do want to read the book. I heard the book's really good. I like to get into the Walking Dead books, but I know there's so many of them, so it's probably going to be impossible.
Right.
I like to read Game of Thrones, but I heard that was close to the show, so I don't know if I want to read that or not. So.
I like the Harry Potter books.
Yeah.
Hunger Games. I started reading World War Z.
Heard that was
a very good book. It's based on the movie. The book and the movie are apparently going to be like worlds apart. So if you see the movie, it's not what happens in the book, because the book is a perspective of many stories.
Yeah.
That one man does conduct all these interviews, but it's a perspective of many stories. Yeah. Stop that.
I'm just saying.
I know. There's no need for that, though. It's a perspective of many stories put together in one book. It's very geopolitical. If you ever wonder what the world would be like after a zombie apocalypse instead of during one, where everybody's killing zombies, which is what I'm more interested in, the geopolitical points of view. How do politics change? How does the landscape change? How does everything change? World War Z is the book for you. And I've started like 60 pages in. It's awesome.
It sounds like an episode of Reading Rainbow.
It is.
Don't take my word for
it. What's really funny about the book, though, is that the author, I believe, actually honestly thinks that this war has happened in real life.
And like you were mentioning before we get to your answer, like you were mentioning about how the book and the movie are going to be different. Mm-hmm. That's a huge thing with people. I think people somehow like for example, The Walking Dead and the comics are completely different from each other. I think people complain about that, and I can get where they're coming from, but to be fair, if the show / movie was the exact same as the book, why would you go see it? You just read it. So I don't, So.
But yeah, it's not just one or two differences on that one. It's apparently a huge differences.
Elmore Leonard, his novels. He, of course, is famous for creating the Raylan Givens character. There's several books with the Raylan Givens character in it, including his most recent novel, Raylan, which is a very good read.
Raylan.
In a blink of an eye, the autobiography of Michael Waltrip is a good read. It talks about his perspective involving the death of Dale Earnhardt and his life before and after, which is a good book if you're a NASCAR fan. Another good book that I read by Ken Follett, I don't know if y'all know who that is, called The Third Twin. That's an interesting read. I don't read a lot, but usually when I do, I read a book within about a week. But when I do read,
I don't read a lot. So when I do,
the crazy thing was when I was in school, I read like a machine.
Oh, yeah.
I read like 20, 30 books a school year.
I read a lot. Yeah.
But now it's like I hardly ever read.
So is this the part where we say go down to your local library and don't take my word for it?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And finally, for the Buck and Five, we'll start with Miss Kendra again.
Yeah.
If you could have any job in the world, what would that job be and why?
And why?
Well, if I could have any job in the world, it would be Dick Vitale's job. I would love to be a sports commentator.
All right, so let's hear your best Dick Vitale impression.
He's a diaper dandy. Yes. But that would be the best job in the world, to go to every Duke game or every, college basketball game.
They lost recently. Did they lose?
But that would be the dream job, because you get to go to work and you get to, be on TV and just talk about basketball all day, every day, and get paid tons and tons of money to do it. And you do it year round, pretty much, kind of. So.
Duke lost.
Big B.
We'll get to that. All right. Well, you can have your
Big B.
We can have our moment.
Yeah. Full disclosure: before you announce what your dream job would be, Cody Rhodes' makeup artist does not count.
Yes.
Just saying.
His fluffer is probably.
I don't know why I even bothered. Anyway, we're running out of daylight, so I might as well answer. It's kind of similar to what she said. I still want to work towards it because, obviously I'm one of those type of people that doesn't give up. I think, you have to really pursue things that you really want to go for. So I'm still trying to, pursue tennis. Is something that I'd like to be doing. Obviously down the road I'd like to either be involved with that commentary-wise or working for the tennis show, something like that. And also I'm still trying to get into voice acting as well. I'm actually going to do something next Thursday that's going to help me out with that. So that's something I always wanted to do as well. But yeah, something like, this show, if we could do this as a job, that'd be great. And we're getting to the path of that. We're going to public access, and that's how shows get picked up.
Eventually, I guess.
Eventually, yeah. Whenever it defines it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like with him. I've always wanted to be a voice actor. I'm not doing something Thursday. You and I will be having a discussion after this goes off, so you can tell me what you're doing and who you're doing it with. But I've always wanted to kind of be voice acting. But want to do that or be Jay Billis, be the next Jay Billis, except for be the doctor.
That sounds like a good idea. I think so. I think my dream job would probably be in commentary. Probably work like a pit road reporter in NASCAR.
You can already do that now.
Well, I could, but
actually, you can go to ESPN and talk college basketball better than half the people on there.
Or be a professional hockey player. I've always loved playing ice hockey, so the opportunity to be a professional ice hockey player would be outstanding. So when we get back from this commercial break, we will wrap up user questions, and we will start headlines right after this.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life. With Mentos fresh and full of life, nothing gets to you. Staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life, fresh goes better. Mentos fresh, fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life. Mentos, the fresh maker.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. Postmaster Jones is Jimmy Biggers, along with the esteemed Dr. Gary the Dr. Lockard, the peon known as Big B Brandon DeMiro, and the talented and wonderful Just Kendra on
I get
that
nothing.
So, moving on through user questions here, we're moving on to James Bond. 007 has a question.
Daniel Craig?
Bond.
No.
Pierce Brosnan?
No.
Timothy Oliphant?
No.
Roger Moore?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll go with Roger Moore.
From Roger Moore.
I don't know.
I wonder what he's up to.
Do you see a Randy Orton? Do you see a Randy Orton or a John Cena heel turn?
When?
He didn't say.
Okay. I would assume eventually. But I think his.
I guess he meant soon.
I think his question pertains to the Sunday. I could see both. There's been speculation on the hush hush websites of wrestling that yes, that was implied. That Randy Orton's supposedly going to join the Shield. You kind of were off on that because you like the Shield being by themselves. I could see it happening because someone in that match is going to go heel, and the Big Show just was heel, so who knows what's going to happen with that.
Well, they're making it look like the Big Show's going to turn on Sheamus and Randy Orton a lot.
Predictable. So I think Randy Orton going heel is a possibility this Sunday. We all want John Cena to go heel. We've wanted it for a long time. This Sunday looks like a strong possibility for the first time in a long time because something going on where John Laurinaitis is going to be in The Rock's corner because he was on SmackDown about a week ago, and obviously Laurinaitis was the quote unquote reason he got fired off of TV. So I mean maybe Cena's good. I don't know. Maybe it's something like similar to what happened with Austin Rock at 17, where Austin teamed with McMahon, kind of thing. Maybe Cena teams with Laurinaitis. I don't know, something like that. Maybe
could be.
I think that Randy Orton might go heel, and that John Cena will never go heel.
John Cena has no desire to go heel whatsoever. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
He said it a bunch of times and numerous of times. So
wishful thinking.
yeah. From Jeffrey Castor.
Oh, okay.
After WrestleMania 29, how many more times do you think The Rock and John Cena will face each other?
I hope never.
I'm answer this quickly. One.
I hope never.
Just to follow up, if it was up to you, would you turn John Cena heel? Why or why not? We kind of answered that already, but I just wanted to mention that because we answered that for you.
So.
And finally, from Jeffrey Castor, what are your thoughts on The Miz going from main eventing WrestleMania 2 years ago to now, this year, being on the pre-show?
Bad. Very bad.
I don't know why they...
It's not just that, but in terms of his favorite wrestler, Wade Barrett is the Intercontinental Champion, supposed to be the second most prestigious title in the company, other than the heavyweight titles. It's on a pre-show, but Brodus Clay and Tensai and the Funkadactyls and versus Cody Rhodes, Sandow, and the Bells get airtime, but Miz and Barrett don't for the Intercontinental title.
That's ridiculous.
Looking at its finest, ladies and gentlemen.
Gotta love
I'm
it.
going to have to be sure to get over to our party spot at 6:30 so I can watch
Well, the pre-show's not on TV.
Yeah.
You have to watch it online. So someone's going to have to bring a laptop, phone, something.
Alright. Well,
Something.
yeah. Well, I guess...
You just had to, I don't know.
Somehow I'll figure it out. Anyway,
So that's user questions this week. A lot of questions and comments. We want to thank everybody for that. And since she was absent last week, we're going to let just Kendra decide this week's user of the week.
Thanks for writing over.
I'm going to say.
Big B.
Big B is
Question.
putting on the clock here.
Jeffrey Castor.
Jeffrey
All right, Jeffrey Castor. You're this week's episode 93 Triple Threat Talk
Viewer of the Week.
And with that, Big B, if you would please.
do I have to again?
Play that funky music, white boy.
How many times have I played this thing? Can you count? Can you,
I don't know.
Do you remember what episode we started doing that?
No, but just roll the clip, will you?
Doctor, give me the news. I got the bad case of the headline blues.
Oh yeah, get that loosened up. Yeah. It's headlines time.
It is headlines.
Is it over?
Headlines. Shut up.
Headline.
Headlines. The heat streak snapped after we went off the air to the Chicago.
Literally.
How does that happen?
I don't
no
know.
Rose, no Noah.
No Rose,
It's
no.
just-
It's
one of those
a
things.
conundrum.
I'm not a Heat fan.
What's that
I'm a
name?
LeBron fan. I didn't expect.
Yarmir Yager.
Jaromir Jagr traded to Boston
What's that say?
in hockey. Crosby, Bing Crosby?
Sidney Crosby.
Bing Crosby.
Sidney Crosby
Took a
has
puck
a
to
broken
the face.
jaw. He took a puck to the
And had to
face.
have his jaw restructured.
Yeah,
He took a
that's
puck to
all.
the face, lost
No.
some teeth.
I don't want to spend a lot of time on this subject, but
Thank you.
move this way.
Stop.
In hockey, they have the option to wear the glass.
Yes.
Why,
Or the cage.
why doesn't he wear the glass?
He only wears the half shield.
So it still broke his jaw, even though he wore the shield.
Yes. Well,
Really? Also, it broke his jaw, even though
Yeah.
he had
Well, he only has a half shield. It
Oh,
only
he
has
doesn't
like
fit-
here.
Okay.
It ends like right
It
there.
ends
It
like
was like
right
a
here.
perfect. It was like a perfect shot.
Yeah, it had to be like a direct hit.
It was right.
Direct hit.
Right on.
Yeah, like.
makes me cringe.
The Penguin streak ended. That was the second longest in NHL history.
15 games they lost last night to the Buffalo Sabres 4-1.
Hockey's almost over.
Thank God. Some coaching changes. Tubby Smith hired by Texas Tech. I knew he wouldn't be out of a
That
job.
didn't take long. Good job, Minnesota.
Not even a week.
Richard Pitino hired by Minnesota.
Excellent.
He gets applause and Tubby doesn't.
Excellent.
Hold on, I'm going to go back to
Excellent.
Tubby Smith hired by Texas Tech. There we go. There we go.
I'm telling you, he's good.
Richard Pitino hired by Minnesota. This. You know what? You guys clap at this.
I clap
But
it.
he was 1 year at FIU. He's an unproven coach going to a Big Ten school. I worry about that.
His name is-
I know you guys like the name Pitino, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure this is the smartest move for them. I've got to be honest.
I think it's a good move.
I think it's a good move.
His record at FIU was average. You're
He had
going to
an
the Big
average
Ten.
team.
It doesn't. You're
But-
going to. It was his team.
But
I think his dad
he
gets
turned
the
them around. They had no business being in the Sun Belt Championship game.
He did not.
Andy Enfield goes to USC. Of course, he was the guy with the smoking hot wife. No, he's the guy from Florida Gulf
You're not
Coast.
wrong, but
He's the guy from Florida Gulf Coast that gave everyone that excitement, which was also his smoking hot wife.
Steve Alford pulls a Baltimore Colts going to Indianapolis.
After he signs a 10-year contract with New Mexico.
He pulls a
How does that happen?
pulls a Baltimore Colts, and in the night the movie fans are heading to UCLA.
see ya.
Wow.
That was
Mark Cuban says he would consider signing Baylor's women's star Brittany Griner to the Dallas Mavericks,
treated men stuff.
given if she was the best available in the second round. So not going to waste a first round pick on her, but I think this is
Second
good
round is
publicity
still
stuff.
high,
It's still
highly
high.
paid.
I mean, second round pick for Bradley Griner. Are you kidding me?
Come on.
Really? Set my team.
Let's go to Big D for a tennis
Come on,
update.
guys.
Really? Big D tennis
Big D
update.
tennis.
Big
time.
D tennis update.
I'm a fan.
Little
Little D, Big D, Big B,
Punishment I take.
Big C.
You're gonna go through the alphabet like Nicolas Cage. So this past weekend was the finals of the Sony Ericsson Open. On the women's side, Serena Williams defeated Maria Sharapova in the finals. So obviously she's playing really good right now. See what happens in the clay court season that's coming up this next month in May. The men's final, obviously we talked about. Well, I talked about it anyway. The historic run of Tommy Haas, who took out Djokovic and got to the semifinals. Lost to Ferrer, no shame in that. And then Murray played the Frenchman Richard Gasquet to get to the final. It was a good final. Murray looked flat in the first set. He just looked like nothing was working. He might have had some back problems. His movement was off. It's just something was wrong with Murray the first set, and Ferrer steamrolled him the first set. And Murray being
dirty.
This is why we don't get anywhere. Then the second set, I think Murray, obviously being the more established player, the veteran, got his act together and took over. Ended up winning the second set and then won the tiebreak and winning the final of the championship match. Good job for Murray. The rankings little shift right now. Djokovic is way out in front at first. No one's catching him right now. Murray's actually number 2, which I know he likes that. Federer's number 3. Ferrer's number 4. Nadal goes to 5th because of how the points work. One more note before that. A lot of people were complaining about what happened on the match on CBS. It was a CBS televised match, and the match was going as longer than CBS had planned because the Final Four games were supposed to the Elite Eight games were supposed to start that time, and the tennis coverage window closed.
Yeah.
So it switched to Tennis Channel, and not everybody has that channel. So CBS, I don't think, thought about that, and there was a lot of backlash on Twitter about it. Obviously, we're going to get to backlash about CBS a little bit later too. But as a tennis fan, I'm a little bit peeved about it. But as a sports fan too, it kind of makes no sense because The tiebreak didn't go as long as I guess they thought it would be. It was I think it was 7-1 or 7-2 tiebreak for Murray, so it was very quick, maybe like 5-6 minutes, and the game maybe just started like 30 seconds, a minute after the match was even over. So they could have still showed the tiebreak. A lot of people were upset about CBS doing that, and a lot of people complained about it.
They didn't know.
Well,
CBS had no idea that it was only going to last like a swing.
I think they could have let it go a little bit. I think
You can't.
But Marty
under contract with
I
CBS.
said
but
$30.
NCAA.
It's like 37 million.
But I was going to say Marty Fish, one of the players on tour, he said something on Twitter about like they could have showed it, and I tweeted back to Mike Dowdy, saw it. But I said, with CBS, I guarantee you the producers and directors, they're like on a short leash when it comes to March Madness. They probably like go, let's go, we got to get this going. This is our big money maker for this time is the March Madness basketball. So
it's CBS's fault too because they book all these things.
Yeah.
You got the Masters, you got March Madness, you got tennis, you got
It's not, to me, it's not a big deal if, for example, say the window closes for the match and they go, okay, we're going to ESPN2. Pretty much everyone has ESPN or ESPN2, whatever. But tennis is something you have to actually purchase separately. I have it because obviously I'm a huge tennis fan, but if people don't have tennis show, they can't see the end of that match, which is not really fair for tennis fans, first of all. So, that's pretty much the tennis topic for me. And again, coming up next month is going to be the clay court season, which is going to be tough for Nadal because he has a lot of those points to defend. If he doesn't defend him, he's going to continue to slip.
some moves in the NFL. The highest paid backup in the NFL, Matt Flynn, goes to Oakland. So right now they've only got one QB on their roster. I can't imagine that's going to last long.
No.
Carson Palmer, which this is what I don't understand. I don't get this. Carson Palmer, a season after being traded to Oakland, 2 seasons after being traded to Oakland, for a first round pick, a couple first round picks. Now he gets traded off for a 6th round pick and a conditional pick in 2014. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. No. He gets traded to the Arizona Cardinals.
I feel so bad for Larry Fitzgerald.
This is his 12th quarterback since 2004.
Yeah. The only quarterback that they had that was good was Kurt Warner. That's it. That Fitzgerald had to work with anyway.
That's insane.
That's ridiculous.
The 49ers signed a 1-year deal with cornerback Nnamdi Asomugha. That is corner, not quarter. Cornerback Nnamdi Asomugha, formerly of the Eagles. I tell you what, Harbaugh is gearing up to win this thing next year. He goes and gets a power corner. He goes and gets a power wide receiver. He's re-signed Frank Gore. They've got LaMichael James returning. Their only competition is going to come from your Seattle Seahawks. That's it in the NFC. And the AFC, obviously they're going to have some stout competition against Denver. And
Indy looks good.
I don't see Indy giving them a hard way because of one reason.
Okay.
Jim Harbaugh is just like Bill Belichick in one aspect. He will tear up young quarterbacks.
Right. And I was going to say,
Coach Andrew.
I was going to say this also. I know this is in the notes, but the Colts signed Darius Hayward-Bay. That guy is a monster. I know he played in Oakland, didn't get much feature, but the guy is.
That's because he had nobody to throw to.
Well, I'm saying the guy's ridiculous. He's ridiculously fast.
Everybody was saying, well, he's a bust. No, he wasn't a bust. He didn't have a good quarterback to get him the ball.
But
Tony Romo gets a huge $106 million contract.
Totally disagree.
$55 million guaranteed. Why do you just actually? You know what?
For what did he get?
Because for his.
No, I'm saying, but what did he?
What has he done to deserve that?
Well,
he's done nothing.
But I totally agreed with you.
I like
guys.
Tony.
I'll cliffhang this. Then we'll segue into the break and we'll come back and I'll tell you what. I totally agreed with you guys until I heard one key piece of information.
Oh, cliffhanger.
Cliffhanging it. We'll be back. Stay tuned to hear what that key piece of information is. Keep it locked to Triple Threat Talk. We'll be back after the break.
Hey Cam, thanks a lot for coming to my school today.
No problem, Nate.
I promise to exercise and eat right.
Don't forget 60 minutes of play a day, right?
And I'll grow up to be big and strong like you.
Absolutely.
And play in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
And be drafted number 1.
Maybe.
And become the starting quarterback of the Panthers.
Okay.
You can be my backup.
Excuse me?
And make Panthers fans forget about you. And become your mom's favorite player.
Whoa.
I'm just loosening my arm.
And the doc, welcome back here. The doc was cliffhanging us before the break.
And then we were talking about other
Kendra, Big
quarterbacks.
B, and the doc and myself. Here we were discussing Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco's pay scale regarding Tony Romo.
Anyway, so
kind of carried over a little bit.
So this key piece of information that I heard regarding Tony Romo getting this contract. When Kendra made the statement off air that she almost wrecked her car when she heard this.
Yeah.
That's not good. Did you like veer into oncoming traffic?
I was like, and then I kind of went. I was like, what the heck?
Here's the key piece of information. People are saying Tony Romo cannot win playoff games. It's false. He can't. He has. That's false. He did.
When was this?
It is when he first came into the league.
Okay,
it was
like
2 years after.
Okay,
I mean, he won a playoff. I can't remember what.
What have you done for me lately?
But
He fumbled a snap against the Eagles.
that is true. Fumble snaps against the Seahawks. However, he is not the world's best quarterback. Yes, this is true.
Absolutely.
But he is a step below the elite quarterbacks. Your Joe Flacco's, your Big Bens, and he is being paid as such now. Because that $106 million over 6 years does not make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Doesn't even make him close.
Flacco.
And then you also have to take in to account the other big factor. The projected draft class for quarterbacks for the next couple of years is extremely, extremely weak. Mm-hmm. You have one, maybe two decent quarterbacks coming up.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith and Matt Barkley aren't even being considered as major quarterbacks.
Well, wasn't Geno Smith second to go to Jacksonville?
Maybe.
Okay.
It's one of those.
I haven't heard anything about Matt Barkley either.
I would say certain quarterbacks that you can be on the lookout for.
Teddy
Bridgewater obviously will be highly regarded.
He might be. He plays in a weak conference.
Well, he's a Heisman front.
He's a Heisman. He is a Heisman. He's a candidate.
Even though he's a sophomore, Johnny Manziel.
I don't.
When he gets drafted. Yeah.
I don't see Bridgewater doing it because University of Louisville, it did come out, has like the third or fourth weakest schedule in the entire NCAA. So that's obviously going to hurt.
Not their fault.
AJ McCarron.
Technically, it is their fault. It is their fault.
They can't help it that all these schools left.
Yeah. They can't help that, but they could have. They tried. They could have tried. I'm just saying.
They did
everybody.
Try. Tom George tried his best.
Everyone is pointing the finger at the University of Louisville. It is their fault, whether you think it is or not as a fan.
No,
I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right, but that's besides the point. The point is, in a projected weak draft class, Tony Romo had structure. He had leverage.
And experience. That is why he got this contract, because of leverage and experience. It wasn't in this case, what have you done for me lately? It's, who can you get to replace me? Let me take the less of the two evils.
Yeah.
Well, I could have traded for somebody.
I don't think it matters anyway. I think as long as Double J's in charge, they're going to be a 7-9, 8-8, 9-7 team anyway.
What happens on
That's
the
very true. Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones is their downfall.
You have an owner that acts like a general manager.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
The last 2 years, accounts the last game. They lost to the Giants last year and the Redskins this year.
I think if Romo was on another team, he would perform much better.
Their offensive line's bad.
Yeah, their O-line is horrible.
I don't put it all on him.
No,
he does make good plays.
He played good last 2 years.
He played good.
The Bears game was cringe to watch.
Yes.
What were you going to say, Kendra?
No, I agree with you. I mean, if he was on a better team.
I mean, I'd like to see Tony Romo on your Bengals.
Oh, yeah. Lord.
Man.
That was scary.
I mean, seriously.
Scary.
Imagine Tony Romo throwing to AJ Green.
I don't know. I think I like Andy Dalton.
I
would take
all the way.
I know. I'm just making a
I'm making a
statement.
If Dalton was as seasoned as Romo was, I mean, he's good now, and over the years, he's going to even get better.
Second year.
But if he had that seasoning and that experience, please.
I mean, the only person he has to throw to is Jason Witten,
Des Bryant,
basically.
Oh, Austin.
Somewhat. And he has to deal with like 5 running backs a year they go through. It seems like
Murray.
I mean, it seems like they're like
time and.
I mean, it's crazy.
There's been from driving late.
Yeah.
What about that stretch where he couldn't play well because his girlfriend was in the stands or something like that? So.
Yeah, I know.
And the other key piece of information was exactly what you guys said. He's got a weak O-line. You got to protect me. If you're gonna, you got to protect me in a weak draft class. I think $106 million over a few years.
There is a way to disguise a weak O-line some.
Not a lot.
But not a lot. You can do it some, but not a lot.
Bears do it sometimes.
You can do screens.
You can do screens.
Because the Bears do it well.
You can do a lot of rollouts.
Yeah, you can do
a lot of quick hits, a lot of X posts.
Your QB on the slot and try to run a fake.
Yeah, there's ways around it,
but we have good online.
Yeah. But it doesn't. It's not going to work forever.
Yeah. So getting out of NFL moves a little bit, or actually completely.
We're talking NFL in April, by the way.
Going to the NCAA. Rutgers basketball coach, most people take their ball and go home. He takes his ball and chucks it at players' heads. Yeah. Can we roll that? Well, I know you posted it on the site.
Yeah.
But for those of our viewers that don't watch it,
okay. I can show that. I think we discussed this before about Mike Rice's issues with practice and what you're seeing. And the athletic director obviously fired him for good reason, but when he first saw it, he suspended him, which was totally stupid.
He owned up to it today.
He owned up to it, but when you see this first, I think it's immediate dismissal. I don't get why he let this go.
Well, I actually don't blame him for letting it go. I don't agree with it.
No, of course
I don't agree
I would
with
hope
it.
not.
I don't agree with it. But in a world where we've seen Bobby Knight choke a kid, throw a chair at a kid, and do the same thing and still keep his job, maybe that's what he was thinking because, it's possible. Yeah. That's why I'm saying I don't blame him. Is this behavior excusable? Absolutely not. In no way, shape, or form. But when you see Bobby Knight get away with those things... maybe the AD is not completely at fault because he thought maybe he could be rehabilitated, and now he's come out and said, I was wrong.
Right.
But
pump the brakes, I was wrong.
That's what got Bobby Knight was that.
Exactly. But not at first. At first, they tried the same thing.
Right.
We're going to try to rehab him.
Right.
And that's exactly what they were doing with Mike Rice.
And I think the AD should be fired too.
Well, he's keeping his job.
He's keeping his job.
But the way, why he's keeping his job, and I think
because he owned up
ridiculous. No. Why he's keeping his job, and this was from a Rutgers alum / booster himself. Words out of his mouth, quote, because of the job he did, getting them the lucrative deal in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's the only reason he's keeping his job.
Because they got some Big Ten.
And I think
so that just proves more and more that the student athlete doesn't matter. It's all about the cash.
And our next story shows that too.
I agree. Like, it was just basically a CYA thing. It's just like, okay, well, I'm sorry I did this, but he should have been fired in the first place. And maybe it was because, it was like, we just got him. He's, fairly new, whatever. But, that's just ridiculous. And I'm surprised that there haven't been lawsuits coming in, But he was being the AD, he should be fired too.
Yeah, I agree. I think he should.
It's very disturbing. And they interviewed some of the players, and they asked them what they thought, and they were just, some of them were like, oh, it's kind of rough, it's kind of intense, and then others were like,
a lot of them were taking up for it.
Yeah, a lot of them were
shocked.
they were like, it works because it makes us go hard and stuff, but what they don't understand is that that's not acceptable.
No, it's not acceptable.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
I think the other key thing that you have to look at is the fact that they had 5 players transfer over the last year. Something ridiculous.
Yeah. And Rutgers is a good. I know a lot of people saying Rutgers basketball, but you got to think the area in which they have to cover for recruiting is outstanding. You have New Jersey, so you have the Camden area. You have New York. You have just a short drive to Boston. Yeah. So it would be a good job.
Yeah.
I know they used to be really good. They used to be, about, crack top 25 every year, maybe.
Yeah, when the football program had Rice.
And then now it's just kind of taking a dive. But Kendra said, I think the AD should be at fault here as well. I realize he was punished. But I think he never should have been punished to begin with, suspended and then fined $50,000.
Yeah.
He should have been fired from the get-go.
Right. I was going to mention the story they did on Outside the Lines. The assistant, I can't remember, he used to play basketball, the guy that they interviewed. He was saying, when the athletic director would come and watch the practice, he was all clapping and being motivational. Once he'd leave, he'd start doing that stuff. So obviously he knew what he was doing was wrong when someone was watching. When no one was watching, he was like, okay, I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing.
And the thing is, if he knew this stuff was being videotaped, why is he doing it in the first place?
I don't think he knew it was videotaped.
Cell phone cameras. Everything in beauty. Responsible for everything from that to celebrities behind the scenes activities. And going from the East Coast to the West Coast, and a similar story with exactly what PostMaster was talking about, showing that the student athlete doesn't matter, it's all about money.
Money dollars.
Ed Rush, an official in the Pac-12, in a conspiracy for trying to rally officials to eject Arizona head coach Sean Miller from the Arizona Conference game, and offers $5,000 or a trip to Cancun for officials to bang him out or run him, which basically means give him a technical or eject him from the game. Larry Scott, the Pac-12 commissioner concluded this was just a joke. I'm just kidding. It's all a joke.
April Fool!
Which clearly it was not, because we have A plus B equals C here. We have a motive. We have people talking about this.
And the way he got a technical was...
And the way he got a technical for saying he touched the ball.
That's all he said.
There was no cussing involved, despite what the officials said there was cursing. But media members, the other coaches, and players alike and fans all said when they hear him, all he said was, he touched the ball. He touched the ball. He touched the ball. And in the press conference... That's when he then gets fined because of what he says in the press conferences for berating the officials. The officials who singled him out and attacked him for no reason, because Sean Miller is clean. He's got a clean record. Didn't have a technical all season until right then. Completely clear. This is outstandingly ridiculous. And the reason that you can relate this to a player, their senior player, obviously, and he alluded to this, and I think this is also part of the fine, because he made it real when he said, he didn't address the player by name, but he said, my man right here is not going to be back next year to play. Yep. Look what you just did to him.
He did. He sure did.
Look what you just did to him. And he never addressed him by name, which I thought was interesting. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, this is ridiculous. Yeah. This is... let's let the kids play.
Right.
I mean, don't do that to kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not fair.
You're not only hurting your coach, but it was a 3-point game, and off of the technical with the free throws and the possession, it was a 5-point swing because they hit a 3 on the extra possession. 5-point swing, they lose a game by 3 points. You take away the technical, Arizona wins by 2.
Yep.
I mean... It's just utterly ridiculous, insensitive, insane. Ed Rush needs to be fired.
Absolutely.
And for backing them, Larry Scott needs to be debarred as commissioner.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no excuse for this. And this is still going on. This is still an ongoing investigation, even though, according to Larry Scott, the Pac-12 commissioner, this investigation is closed. Guess what, buddy? The NCAA came knocking on your door, and it's not closed until they say it's closed.
Yep.
This is utterly... I can't tell you how disgusted I am. I'm a college basketball fan.
Yeah.
This makes me sick.
Because sometimes that's all those kids have is basketball. You know, they go out there, play their hearts out for these coaches, and they don't even care about the press conferences and stuff. They just want to go out there and do what they love. That's why they're there in the first place, and that's just ridiculous. And they should all be fired. Jail time, extortion, all type of stuff.
I'll tell you what,
just ridiculous.
It's a definite black eye for the game, that's for sure.
And they related this to Tim Donaghy in the NBA, saying that Ed Rush was always telling people it's good for business when the Lakers win, and how the Lakers in several Game 7s, when they very well should have lost, all of a sudden they win. That's because of the same thing, and no one believed Tim Donaghy, because Tim Donaghy was an ex-convict, an ex-felon. And all of a sudden, just because he says this and no one else is coming forward with it, who are you going to believe? You're going to believe Ed Rush, a man who is very intimidating, they say, or are you going to believe an ex-con? Sometimes the ex-cons are right, and it looks like in this case he very much was right.
To give you a local spin on it, Lloyd Gardner, the guy who directs the King of the Bluegrass tournament, which is actually a very prestigious nationwide high school basketball tournament. It's held here at the Fairdale High School in Louisville. He said this happens more than what people think. And as a matter of fact, he had a referee, an official, that came to the tournament a couple years ago, and he straight up told him, I got 3 technicals in my pocket, and I'm going to use them. I mean, he had no motive. He had nothing. He basically just told him, somebody's getting teed up. I'm issuing 3 technicals. It was like... it's crazy. It's insane.
It is insane. And, these kids, like Kendra said, sometimes this is all they have.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. Let the kids play. There's no reason to do all this. There's no money involved in college. Right. Yeah, you can bet in Vegas on the games, but, when you're an official, you're not supposed to be betting. And we'll continue to this train of thought and finish up headlines right after this.
I've been waiting for the dryer for, forever. That's it. I'm just gonna unload their clothes. I don't care if they get wrinkled.
What are you doing?
And now I look like a huge perv.
Sweating on the inside? Handle it on the outside with Speed Stick Power.
I was just gonna fold your clothes for you so they wouldn't get wrinkled.
That's so sweet of you.
I'd fold your panties any day.
What?
What?
Speed Stick. Don't sweat it. Handle it. Tweet your handle it moment now.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Vickers, along with the esteemed one, Gary the Dr. Lockard, Big B, Brandon DeMiro, and just Kendra on the end there. So before the break, we were talking about this whole ordeal with Ed Rush and the Pac-12 situation. It's definitely a nasty situation.
I hope the NCAA throws them all out. I hope Ed Rush is terminated as an official. I hope Larry Scott is debarred as commissioner of the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
I hope Sean Miller, I hope Arizona gets some sort of compensation for this, whether it be extra scholarships for a couple years or something. Obviously, they can't.
They probably won't.
They
but I
probably
agree with
won't.
you. They should.
They should. This is utterly insane.
I think the firing money is much you get.
That's probably it. They're like, oh, we fired him. There you go.
That's good enough.
That's all we got.
Anyways.
But from that end of the NCAA,
some good news.
we go to some good news. Well,
sort of good.
Not good news, but I mean, depending on who you root for.
Well, I mean, good news as in we actually going to talk about the actual
Final
game.
Four. Yeah, talk about the games here. Obviously, we're not going to show it here, but the big story of all the Final Four weekend came from Kevin Ware when Kevin Ware was horrifically injured by a misstep. What killed me were people online after it happened. I mentioned this to him. Where's the foul on Duke? Unfortunately, this is a situation where the guy from Duke, no one touched him.
And I don't know who said that.
It's a misstep.
There's a lot of people, and you get this not just with U of L fans, but all around. UK fans, Duke fans, North Carolina fans.
Everywhere.
If somebody goes down, they want a foul to be called, which is just ridiculous.
I mean, what happened was, Ware's going for a block. And obviously, I think the shot went in, or I remember what happened. Where landed?
Yeah, it went in.
It went in. Okay, I saw what happened. Ware's leg goes the way it's not supposed to go, and then
I don't want to talk about
everyone knows what happened after that.
Yeah.
Patino said it about 5 or 6 times. What happened in the
I will say, when I first saw it, I saw it live, real time, and at first I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Because his leg looked weird.
Yeah, and that.
Like, what is that?
But then what got me confused was everybody was sitting around. I thought there was a mass
They did that to
collision.
stop the game. I thought there was a mass collision too.
I
told you.
I was like, what the heck?
And I saw I think Bohannon was hurt. I was like, what's going on?
Russ was hurt.
I think the Duke guy was covering his face and he had tears, and I was like, what the?
Everybody was crying. That touched me so much because Patino
was crying.
He was crying. Mike Krzyzewski. Everybody was just crying because it was that.
Go ahead.
It was just that graphic. Yeah. I didn't see it. I
cried.
See it.
I was sitting there crying.
I was upset, and I think the reason everyone was
very upset. I was sitting there crying.
I think they're staring at the kid, and everyone's upset because they're a close-knit family, like brothers. I think that's what people are not really understanding why they were crying. It's like they're a family, and if something happened to anyone of you guys, I'd probably cry because we're a close-knit group. And I think the reason people were crying is because the kid's down there. Obviously, we know what happened, so I'm not going to go into detail. But he's sitting there don't worry about me, I'll be fine. You win this game. It's really?
It's 6 or 7 times he kept and Patino told the guys, come over here, he wants to talk to you. He just kept saying, I'm fine, go in the game.
And obviously, we know what the situation is, obviously.
Right.
And he's like, you know what? Don't worry about me, I'm going to be fine. Go in the game. It's like, really?
Yeah.
This guy's got a lot of guts.
He did an interview today. And
on CNN, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and man, it was so emotional. He was just saying, if this is the last time that I play basketball, then, whatever, I went out with a bang. And he was like, most important thing is that we win this game. That's all I'm worried about. He was like, everything happens for a reason. I don't know what the reason is yet. Right. He was like, but I will find out. And, he started crying because that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was definitely, go
ahead.
As if they needed something to get him going.
Right, and the thing is, it was lucky to happen where it is because they have great physicians in that area to really help them out.
Right at the IU.
Yeah. Well, they took him to the hospital where injured Indy 500 drivers all go. Right. So it's obviously the best of the best.
Yeah. So,
when it comes to orthopedics and putting people back together. And, it was definitely as if they needed a rally.
Yeah, and I think they really responded from that because they ended up beating Duke by 22 points.
No, seriously.
And
they didn't beat Duke.
They slaughtered.
And the thing is about that game to me,
I was shocked.
And I was happy because I like Peyton Siva. He played phenomenal. Russ Smith didn't really show up that game.
Yes, he did.
He did.
He scored almost 30 points.
Well, in the beginning of the game, he was kind of getting a little slow.
No, that's when he started off hot.
Well, he didn't play as well as I thought he did against the Oregon game. Oregon game, he really played.
What did he do? Score 50?
Yes.
Come on. He's Russ spectacular.
But I was really proud of Peyton to see how he was playing. He was running to the basket, making really good passes to everybody. Gorgie Zhang played well. Luke Hancock played well. They all played fantastic.
I can only imagine being in that locker room at halftime. And when I heard this, and another thing too, if you want to go on Facebook, look up Bob Valvano on Facebook. And read his story of his account of what happened. Yeah. It's definitely a good story. But in the locker room, they asked Pitino about why the players were back so soon, because the players were back on the court like 8 or 10 minutes before the second half was supposed to start. And he said, "Well, plain and simple, this is what I told the guys: if you don't go out there and win it for Kevin, why do we even go back out there? What's the point?" He said, "Go back out there and send Kevin home."
If that can't motivate you, I don't know.
That's what he said. It's like already the fact of going to the Final Four, but this is definitely
bring him home. Yeah.
And it was like the second half, they were just like
exploded.
They shut him down. Yeah, they shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
It was impressive because I did not see a 22-point win over Duke.
No, I did not. I even said on the show, I said they win by about 10 points or they won by 8.
They dug really deep.
Yeah, I just hope that it.
I hope this continues.
It wasn't such an emotional high that they come crashing down.
Wichita State's tough.
Yeah, Wichita State is no slouch. I promise.
And that's why I was going to examine this game, U of L versus Wichita State. First game up.
6:09 Eastern.
6:09 Eastern. The thing about Wichita State is Wichita State beat VCU. Okay, now. Why do I mention VCU in the same sentence as University of Louisville? No, not in this tournament. In the season.
Okay.
VCU plays the same type of press that University of Louisville plays. It is full court pressure as soon as you inbounds the ball. Wichita State found a way to beat this not once but twice this year.
And Louisville's defense has been the driving force. That's why they've been so successful.
Yeah, number one defense, like you mentioned 2 minutes ago.
Wichita State has this pesky habit of being able to break the press, and they do the press as well. They will do a half-court press. They don't do a full-court press, but once you cross that line, and I have not seen a half-court press like that, as lethal as that this year. Yeah. I've seen a full-court press, obviously, with the University of Louisville.
Right.
So I would be very concerned if I was the University of Louisville entering this game. I would not be taking Wichita State lightly. I don't think they are, but I would not at all, just because they've got that 9 right next to their name.
They'd be the first team to get to the finals at number 9.
And I think another reason why they're not going to take them lightly is their own coach said he put them in the Final Four before the tournament started. Yeah. Rick Pitino said, "I may not be Obama, but I had Wichita State in the Final Four."
Good bracket, man. Nice bracket, Rick.
But yeah, I mean they've got this. I'm saying U of L wins this game. I'm saying probably about 6-7 points.
I got that.
I say Louisville wins by like maybe 5.
I say 5 too.
I think so. I mean the spread's 10, but I don't know if they beat the spread. It's a possibility. I mean they haven't had the Oregon game was their only single digit game.
No, it's 1 by 8. Yeah.
And I think a lot of that's because a lot of them were sick. Because they could have put them away. I think they were just so sick and they were tired and they just...
And I think the key thing with Louisville is when they played Duke early in the year, that invitation they lost to Duke by, was it 5?
Like, yeah.
They didn't have Gorgie Zhang. No. And obviously he's a huge force because...
And Hancock wasn't playing the way he had been.
So Louisville's really coming together at the right time.
Right. So I think so. It's gonna be a good game.
I'll be tuned in for
I think it will be the better of the two. As far
I disagree.
As far as like fast-paced action back and forth.
I disagree with that.
Michigan has the most explosive offense left in this tournament. Absolutely. That is a fact.
Right.
And Syracuse, they do not have the defense of U of L, but they are up there. They're probably second or third on that list.
I would say kill.
And
they have been playing.
I like Michigan.
In my opinion, though, the only team left out of Wichita State, Syracuse, and Michigan that can beat U of L is Michigan.
Yeah. I agree.
I think I actually am inclined to say this much. If Syracuse wins this game, U of L, given the fact that U of L wins, given the fact that on our predictions, not going on fact, but going on our predictions so far, I predicted U of L to win this game. If Syracuse wins against Michigan, U of L will then beat Syracuse for the national championship.
I think so.
If Michigan wins this game against Syracuse, Michigan is your national champion. And it's this thing, and what is very scary is that Michigan is a young team. Trey Burke has said he is coming back.
I know.
Hardaway has said he is coming back.
That's good.
This team next year can rival Kentucky. This team next year can rival Duke. This team next year can rival U of L. This team next year is a very scary team, whether they win this or not.
Right.
And I honestly think if Michigan beats Syracuse, they will beat U of L because U of L has not played an offense as explosive as Michigan all year. Michigan averaging just shy of 85 points a game.
To me, as a fan, obviously Michigan's probably the second best team in this tournament besides Louisville. But I think as a fan, I see Louisville play Michigan because I've already seen them play Syracuse twice.
3 times.
3 times, right? So
3 times.
So it's just.
I think CBS wants to see Louisville versus Michigan.
I think so.
I think they do too. I think that might be one of the highest rated.
That would get a high rating. That would get a high rating.
Yeah,
I think Louisville Syracuse.
And that game would be on a Monday, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and
Ross ratings was slouching.
I think Louisville Syracuse would not do well in ratings.
Because they've seen it before.
Yeah, everybody's seen it.
It's happened 3 times.
Rerun.
And the fact that Louisville beat them, soundly in the Big East tournament, come from behind and just demolished them in the second half.
So Wichita State versus anybody would draw a big rating because that was India's story.
Well, yeah. Wichita, that would
So
be
the winner, I think the winner of the U of L Wichita game really plays a part in the final because if Wichita State
clearly because it's going to be one of the 2 teams in the final.
What I'm saying, it's not predicated on this because say Syracuse wins. If U of L wins, it's like whatever. But if Wichita State wins that game, it's kind of like whoever wins that game is going to be excited because it's a 9 seed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's definitely stories abound.
Stories abound.
It's going to be fun, and it'll be fun, watching and tuning in. We'll have the Final Four on Saturday and then the championship game on Monday. So we'll have a full recap next week.
I was going to say, if U of L does win, hopefully do, and if Michigan does win, they're off. The WrestleMania is going to take a huge hit in ratings.
It will anyway, regardless, because it's the NCAA championship game.
True.
It doesn't matter who's playing; it's still going to take.
I think I agree with him.
Michigan versus Louisville is going to draw the most ratings.
Yes, I think so.
But
Wichita State would probably draw it.
Yeah, I think so.
Wichita State, I tell you, either way, in this situation, the only way that this is not going to draw a big rating is U of L versus Syracuse.
Or if Syracuse wins, then it's,
That's the only way.
I think so.
I mean, because I think U of L, Michigan, U of L, I think U of L, Michigan, or Wichita State and Syracuse, Wichita State and Michigan would draw a monstrous rating. I think it would all draw probably around as 5 or 6.
And I think U of L, Syracuse would be the lowest out of any of the
that would probably draw 3. That would probably draw 3.
On the women's side of things, I know we don't talk a lot of the women's, but I wanted to give this a special shout out because of the monumentous effort by Coach Jeff Walls and the University of Louisville Cardinals. They did something that I don't think anybody thought was possible. I didn't think. They were a 24-point underdog against Brittany Griner and Baylor. They defeat them by 1 point. Go ahead.
No, I watched that game. They triple teamed her every time she touched the ball.
All she does is stand there if you watch.
Seriously,
she doesn't move.
Every time she caught the ball, it was somebody on the front, it was somebody on the basket side, and it was somebody in the back. And she would throw up shots, and clearly her arms are 5 feet taller than anybody else. All she has to do is go like that. But they stopped even that. So they performed.
I was watching that game and the arms were flying everywhere. I was like, what the heck is going on?
16 threes. The U of L women hit 16 threes.
Highest tournament record.
Yes.
Yep. And then from that, they beat the number one, the heavy favorite to advance to the Elite Eight, and then they go and beat the most storied program in women's basketball history, Tennessee, last night. So now Louisville's in the Final Four for women. I don't think they're going to win it. I don't think they're going to get past the winner of Connecticut and Notre Dame. And I say that even though they beat Baylor and they beat Tennessee, I don't think they
Baylor. The problem with Baylor is they just have Brittany Griner.
Yeah, Connecticut has Connecticut
has that Gino coach.
Yeah, they have a mastermind.
Yeah. And out of 8 possible teams left in the NCAA tournament, men's and women's combined, 5 of them are from the Big East. But the Big Ten is still the best conference. Just ask anybody. They'll tell you. And we'll be right back after the break.
I took my love, took it down. climbed a mountain and I turned around. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Did my love take it down? And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, a landslide will bring it down.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, along with Just Kendra, Big B, Brendan DeMiro, and the esteemed one, Gary, the Dr. Lockard. Before we get into wrestling, a little something that we forgot to mention in the headlines with basketball. The Big East Conference, the ones that are remained and the ones that are joining in to form the new conference, has a new name.
The AAC.
The AAC, the American Athletic Conference. So
not to be confused with the ACC,
exactly.
Which is where U of L will move in the next season.
So, Big B, give us a little info about OVW.
Well, no info. Obviously, you can always go to ovmania.blogspot.com to check out the Brian Cannon's blog about them. He actually tweeted us saying, check it out this week. So
that was hilarious.
That was awesome.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't check it out?
I didn't see it yet.
We made the list.
We're on
the top 20 list.
We're on the top 20 list.
We're number 20?
We're number 3 for
tag teams.
Tag teams.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm going to check that out.
Yes.
We're on the list, so huge shout out to Brian Cannon. Thank you very much for including.
Who are we ahead of? Who are we ahead of?
Well, no,
we're ahead of the veterans that go there. I forgot their names.
No, it doesn't matter, but we're ahead of some people. We did complain that we weren't the number one contender.
Do we have an upcoming match or somebody?
I don't know.
No,
we're not the number one contender.
He did pose the question though, and I want to address it. He said, "Would they follow the free bird rule?" And I say yes.
But yeah, I don't know if we mentioned this last week, and I can't remember if we did, but definitely congratulations to OVW for getting that TV deal with Ion TV.
Starts tonight.
They're actually filming it tonight, so that's obviously big for them to be on Ion Television instead of here in
over 1 million
WKYI. It's not really a huge market; it's just local. But Ion TV is actually everyone can get in the country, so that's pretty good for them to get that. So that's OVW pretty much right now.
Congrats.
You can go to overwrestling.com and check out all this stuff. Check out the roster. Of course, go to Overwrestling for Blip TV to check out Overwrestling there. And of course, you can still watch them. Are they on WKY anymore? Are they?
No,
I think it's just Ion TV now. So check your local listings for that as well.
Definitely. And we also want to thank Terry and Cheryl Bodie.
So he gets it right. We can't get it right.
All their contributions and all their help with the show. We want to thank them for that. So with that, we'll move on to WrestleMania Pick'ems.
Pick'ems.
Raw was pretty much build up for WrestleMania. It was kind of
I liked the promo with Punk.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Definitely.
You mentioned before the show they had to talk to Paul Bear's, William Moody's kids to make sure it was okay.
Yeah, and they okayed it, but apparently there was a little misunderstanding. One quick note though before we get into WrestleMania Pick'ems that me and Big B were talking about before the show. Yeah. I am completely ecstatic about this news. I am very thrilled to announce that Owen Hart's widow has come to an agreement with WWE. Mm-hmm. And so now his likenesses, trademarks, images, photos, pictures, and all of the above will be allowed to be used, and he will more than likely be inducted into the Hall of Fame next year.
The Fall of Fame?
Yeah, Hall of Fame.
Oh, no. Don't even.
You said Fall.
Yeah, but then
I know.
That's bad.
I'm excited for that. I'm glad they finally got that worked out. I'm glad she.
It's been probably a long time to make.
I know Bret Hart's even tried to talk to her.
It's her discretion though.
So it's the good stuff there.
So let's get down to business.
All right, in the pre-show main event.
So the YouTube.com/Facebook/Twitter/WWE.com.
Wade Barrett puts his Intercontinental title on the line.
Pre-show
against The Miz.
The Marine.
Who do I have?
I don't know. You can just pick one.
You're showing up, so you get to be a part of Pick'em.
Yeah, you can.
Whatever name sounds good.
Tell me the name again.
Wade Barrett and The Miz. The Miz was on MTV reality show.
The other one.
Wade Barrett.
Yeah.
Wade Barrett.
There you go.
All right, Kendra picks Wade Barrett.
Smart girl.
Big B.
I think you and me are going to have the same answer. I picked the Miz. I think they're pushing him more
The
because of
Miz.
the Marine 3, and I think they're pushing.
I think Wade Barrett because I think that if the title switches, they want it to be seen.
That's not a bad.
I picked the Miz just because. Why not? Team Funkadactyls. This actually makes WrestleMania, but the Intercontinental title does not. Brodus Clay and Tensai team up with the Funkadactyls to take on Cody Rhodes, Damian Sandow, and the Bella Twins. Really?
Really?
So basically, Team Funkadactyls against Team Rhodes Scholars. Who you got, Kendra?
Rhodes Scholars.
As much as I like her pick, they're not going to win. I picked the Funkadactyls.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going with the Rhodes Scholars.
Whoa! And I guess me and Big B will be in agreement again. I'm picking Team Funk.
Okay.
Funk is on the roll.
In a debut match at WrestleMania.
And everyone's behind.
That everybody's behind, which I don't get.
Now say it right.
Big B doesn't get.
Say it right.
The Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, Y2J Chris Jericho, goes one-on-one in his debut match against Fandango.
No, wrong. You said it wrong.
Movie play?
You said it wrong. Grim Fandango. Movie tickets.
May I cut in?
No.
Right. Kendra?
Chris Jericho.
I pick Fun. No, yeah, right. I pick Jericho.
You know what?
You would.
I'm picking
You
Fandango
would.
because
You would.
most people win their debut matches. So by that logic, I'm going with Fandango.
What logic?
I'm going with Chris Jericho, and if Fandango wins, I may throw up right there on site. The WWE Tag Team titles are on the line.
Yes.
Team Hell No.
No.
Daniel Bryan and Kane put their titles on the line against Dolph Ziggler, and if he's ever going to use that briefcase, I don't know. And Big E Langston.
Big E.
Not to be confused with Big B Langston.
I thought it was Kevin Steen.
Kendra.
The first one.
Team Hell No.
Team Hell No, yeah.
Yes.
Hell no.
Big B.
They've had it for a long time. I picked Ziggler and Langston.
I'm picking Hell no.
No.
Ziggler and I'm picking Team Hell No because I think if Ziggler wins tag titles, you won't see him cashing in. And we can only hope that he cashes in.
I'm still saying he cashes. I say he wins both.
In a match, just so we can see Ryback through the shell shock to Mark Henry, because that is the only reason they
What
have
the
this
ring breaks?
match.
What are they doing after that?
I don't know.
Show must go on.
Wrestle on the side.
Ryback versus Sexual Chocolate.
No.
Mark Henry.
Sexual chocolate.
That's what he used to call himself.
Yeah.
Mark Henry.
She picks the Henry.
Just because she likes that name.
She likes sexual chocolate.
I pick. Nice. I pick Ryback.
I pick Ryback.
Goldback.
Goldback.
I pick Skip Sheffield.
Who?
Skip Sheffield.
Oh, you mean Ryan Reeves?
Yeah, Ryan Reeves. No, I pick Ryback. Echo.
Alpha.
No Echo.
India. Delta. The Shield.
Okay.
Roman Reigns. Dean Ambrose.
Seth Rollins.
And Seth Rollins take on Randy Orton, Sheamus, and The Big Show.
And Big B.
That's the worst thing you could possibly say.
Who wins? Team Superheroes versus
Team Villains. The Avengers versus the
That's what it is.
Shamos and them.
All right, she's picking the team. She's picking the
heroes.
The superheroes.
She's picking the Avengers.
Big B.
I'm picking the Shield. I say Orton goes heel.
I'm picking the Shield.
I'm picking the Shield, and if they don't win, I'm rioting.
So if Fandango wins, you're throwing up, and the Shield loses, you're riding. Don't do both. That'd be bad.
I know.
That'd be a mess.
The World Heavyweight title is on the line.
Really?
Probably going to be probably going to be the opening match.
Is that pre-show?
It might as well. It might as well be. Jack Swagger.
Hey man, there's no cover on the camera. What are you doing?
I'm just talking like he does.
Sylvester the Cat.
Yeah, and his protege Dutch Mantel, or as he likes to be called,
Zeb Ann Coulter.
Zeb Ann Coulter. That's right. Take on Alberto You're welcome.
Swagger.
She's got the moves like Swagger.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking about.
Before I make my pick, there's a picture actually online of Del Rio's back after he got whipped by Swagger and Coulter, which looked pretty gruesome. That's actually.
What does that have to do with the price of eggs?
He's asking you what the hell that has to do with anything.
He's talking about Del Rio. Anyway, I say Del Rio wins and Ziggler cashes in, because if Swagger wins and Ziggler cashes in, Swagger gets a rematch, and hopefully they don't want to give him a rematch.
Del Rio wins, Ziggler cashes in.
Del Rio wins, Ziggler cashes in. All together.
Echo.
Alpha, Romero.
All right, that's enough.
Triple H with Shawn Michaels in his corner. Tickling Brock, the Beast Incarnate, or Bork Laser, as I like to call it. Brock Lesnar. Triple H's career is on the line in a no holds barred match.
No holds barred.
I'm waiting for Zeus and Hulk Hogan, or is it Rip?
Go ahead, Kendra. Who you
Triple
got?
H.
Triple H.
Shawn Michaels is in his corner. I say Triple H.
I say Triple H.
I say H.
There's a lot of H's right there.
Yes.
Bork.
The Streak versus Straight Edge.
Best in the world.
Best in the world. CM Punk.
That's nice. I like that. Straight versus straight edge.
You like that?
Yeah, that's good.
CM Punk versus The Undertaker.
Undertaker.
We were, like we were mentioning earlier, you know how we always say who gets the last laugh and then the other one's going to win? Punk got the last laugh on Raw, but I'm still going with Punk to end the streak.
I still think Taker wins. In a world where Paul Bear was still alive, I would be saying Punk. I just want that said, but I think that changed things.
I want to pick Punk so bad,
Really?
but I can't.
Can't do it because he got the last laugh. Are you going off that?
Yeah, I'm going with Undertaker, but I want Punk to win.
I think I do too.
And that's bad. Being a wrestling fan of 20 plus years, I want the Undertaker's streak to go away.
Just needs to go away.
He's too. I want Punk to win.
I want Michaels to win, but that's not
The main event of the evening. Actually, maybe this will be on the pre-show.
Wow! It'll be on Sunday Night Heat.
Yeah, once in a lifetime.
Twice.
Twice.
The WWE champion, The Rock.
Dwayne
The Rock Johnson. Or as you called him the other day, what's his name in that movie?
Marvin.
Marvin
the Martian.
Takes on John Triton, a.k.a. John Cena.
John Triton.
The Marine.
The Marine.
The Marine, for sure.
The movie's on AMC all the time now.
Thank you for that plug.
Because they're the only ones that'll play.
Contrary to believe, that's actually a decent movie.
And the first one is.
The Marine, yes. The original Marine, yes.
Going to like the second.
No, straight to DVD.
12 rounds is good, by the way.
Anyway, moving on.
Kendra.
The Rock.
Big B.
John Cena.
Cena.
You say it so like
begrudgingly.
Cena. It's like Cena. John Cena's gonna win. I mean, and the reason why, I can finally tell you my reason.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So you brought up a point earlier. John Cena hasn't had the belt since 2011. And last year, John Cena, ever since he lost to The Rock, what have they done to John Cena?
He's been
screwing him.
They've tore him down to nothing.
Pieces.
They've had him lose.
I've enjoyed it.
They've had him in bogus tag team matches. They've had him lose to Punk. They've had him lose to stupid people. They've brought him down and brought him down and brought him down.
As long as he's ever been.
And what is WWE always famous for doing?
Put him back up.
Yep. So, point proven. All they've done is run him in the ground. He had his early shining moment, not to be confused with the one shining moment for the NCAA Tournament, by winning the Royal Rumble. But since he's won the Royal Rumble, he's done nothing again.
Yeah.
So yet again, they've done nothing but
they want Cena to be that guy to rise up. To rise up.
So he will. That is why Cena will win, because of that factor right there. He will rise up, just like his shirt said. His one shirt said,
"Rise above hate."
Yep, rise above hate. He will rise above the hate of WWE.
And then we're rise above the hate of the suits.
And then we're gonna have to listen to the exact same thing. I rose above everything.
No, you know what you're gonna hear on Monday Night Raw? The champ is here.
The champ. Actually, won't be hearing anything because I'll be watching U of L win the national title.
Yeah.
So how about that?
I'll be watching that game regardless. You know.
So does anybody have a wild card?
Do we have a wild card?
Do we have a wild card?
I do. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
so let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have a short segment, wrap up the show, do wild card, Idiot of the Week, and we will sign off.
We have an idiot of the week?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay.
We'll be right back.
Hey, Nick Dinsmore here. Do you have the dream of becoming a pro wrestler? Well, I did, and I came to Ohio Valley Wrestling. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. I'm a former WWE superstar. I'm a former 9-time Ohio Valley Wrestling heavyweight champion, and I can train you to be the best today. For all the information regarding the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class, go to obwrestling.com and click on school. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. obwrestling.com, click on school.
And welcome back to Triple Threat Talk. I am the esteemed one, Gary the Dr. Locker.
And don't you forget
I'm with
I already forgot it.
Just Kendra, Big B, Brandon DeMuro, Jimmy Baker's PostMaster Jones. I got a sleeper hole during the break.
Sleeper.
All right.
No one saw that, so no one.
Nobody saw that, but it happened. It happened. Okay. So, anybody got a wild card? Big B, you said you did.
I do.
Before you do, Kendra, you got
Kendra?
Okay, I was gonna. It was one of our headlines. I guess we didn't get to it since we had so many. Started baseball. Baseball actually started this past Sunday night.
Yes, it did. The Reds went to 13 innings.
The Angels lost because of Chris Iannetta.
Who?
But the one story I want to mention was last night. Yu Darvish for the Texas Rangers. Gut wrenching to watch. He had a perfect game going through 9 innings. Bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, last out, base hit. Perfect game ended. Yu Darvish. It was a horrible thing to watch him fail at that. It was so close. The other big story I wanted to mention was the Nationals. Actually, Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs in the first game of the season, making him the youngest player to ever hit 2 home runs in the first game. He's 20 years old. Guy is phenomenal. Like Bryce Harper, he's going to be a great player. So
to that effect, real quick, since we got a whole segment to work with, why just throw it away?
Right.
Who do you think's going to win? I mean, who are the teams to watch out for this year in the baseball?
I like the. Yesterday was the first game for the Blue Jays. I thought the Blue Jays were going to be that team in the AL East to really stand out because they seem like the better team. They seem they have a lot of new talent. But R.A. Dickey's first start was a little bit shaky.
The Mets, but before you go on this tirade with the Mets.
No, I said the Blue Jays.
Okay.
I'm not even going to talk about the Mets.
Okay,
the Mets are winning like 60 games.
Never mind.
No, the Mets aren't even close. But I like the Blue Jays, but like I said, Dickey's first start was kind of, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I still like the Blue Jays in the AL East. I love the Angels. I think the Hamilton pickup was very good for them. The people they already have, Pujols and Trout is phenomenal. The Mariners, they're going to get there. They might make the wild card. They're going to be a little bit better. As far as the NL goes, I like the Nationals. I like the Reds. I like the Diamondbacks as a wild card team. The Diamondbacks look really good. The Braves will probably make the other wild card. Maybe. We'll see what happens. As far as our World Series goes.
Oh, we're way. You got 100. Don't even bother with that.
I think the Blue Jays are going to surprise some people as good they're going to be. I really think they're going to be good. But yeah, baseball's a long season, so we'll see what happens.
Kendra?
I think the Reds.
The Reds?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Just the Reds.
I'm a Braves fan.
Okay, so
hopefully, they'll.
But
they haven't been good since.
Stop.
That's my grandfather's favorite team.
Bryce
They haven't
DeMuro.
been good since.
Brandon Harper.
I think the Reds are going to do good things this year. I'm also looking out for the Angels. I'm looking out for the Blue Jays. I honestly believe that the Cardinals could do well this year.
They're always there.
They find a way to be there. But
the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays, they got some good players.
And
watch out for the Orioles.
And of course, you got to watch out for Houston. Hitting the bottom. Dude, interesting fact about Houston. Real quick. Baseball gives people $50 million just on TV contracts at the beginning of the year.
Their total salary is only $20 million.
Aaron makes more than them.
It's already covered.
And he's not playing.
Yeah.
Their payroll will be covered in the first month.
Yeah.
Just off of attendance and sodies and hot dogs.
And I'll say this about the Astros. They were in the NL last year and they were bad. They moved to a harder division this year in the AL and they're going to be even worse.
$20 million.
I concur.
20.
So who's your teams there except for the Braves?
The Braves, obviously. I like the Nats too. I think they're going to be right up there with the Braves.
I think the Nationals. Yeah, I think.
The Reds probably will win the NL Central. I wouldn't be shocked if they did not. I like the Orioles. I think the Orioles are going to do well this year.
I'm not sold on them yet.
I think the Yankees and the Red Sox are battling for last place.
I want to say something about the Yankees and My friend out there, Andrew, doesn't want to believe me because I don't know much about baseball. He does, and that's fine. But I told him yesterday, or not yesterday, but the first day of the game between the Red Sox and Yankees, the Red Sox are going to win. The Red Sox won. And I'm telling him, well, all these injuries with the Yankees are not going to do as good. And I don't know if he can accept that because he's a Yankee fan, but he has to. Jeter's not playing. A-Rod's not playing. Teixeira's not playing. Sabathia had a horrible start against the Red Sox. The Yankees just aren't going to do it this year. I'm sorry. They're just too old.
And I like the Angels. Like you all said, Angels is a good choice.
What about the Mets?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
They're on pace to go 162-0.
Yeah, right. 2-0. They're undefeated.
Do you have a wild card, sir?
I think that was our wild card.
I do not have a wild card. Yeah.
I just want to say real quick, it was yesterday and we did celebrate it fine and dandy, but definitely a happy 30th birthday to the wife, Stephanie. She turned 30 years old on Tuesday.
You never tell a woman's age, fella.
Why? She don't mind. She was excited.
She looks 25.
Huh? I know, I told her that.
You never can hear that, fella.
I told her that because I'm still in my 20s. So I'm like, you like them young. What's wrong with you?
Robin the Cradle.
Robin the Cradle.
Oh, boy.
So that's my wild card.
All right.
So this idiot of the week.
Yeah, you said you had an idiot of the week.
I do.
Okay.
And for the 4th time this year, Big B.
What did I do? Yeah, what have I done? What have I done now?
It's the Triple Threat Talk Idiot of the Week.
What have I done?
Nothing. It's just you.
I'm a four-time idiot of the week. Put a plaque up on my wall.
And this time it was for no reason. It was just because. You're an easy target, though.
Thank you. One quick note before we wrap up the show. I know we mentioned a couple weeks ago about the Reds networking event. It looks like a no-go right now. It's partially all of our faults. We got the email back in February.
That's why he's idiot of the week. We're putting him in.
It's not my fault.
We've still got a little bit of hope.
It's
possible. A little bit of hope. It's still possible.
We still might just go to the game anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Could be.
But that wraps up the show this week.
Yep. Big weekend coming up, fellas.
WrestleMania, basketball.
Oh, and Saturday. I don't know how we could forget this one. Saturday, right before Final Four Madness kicks off, check out the Wood Memorial. Quarter till six is going to be the post time.
The first 100-point race.
The first 100-point race. Yeah, it is the first 100-point race.
I thought last week was with Shanghai.
This is the third, yeah. This is the third 100-point race in the new Churchill Downs point system leading up to the Kentucky Derby. The Wood Memorial takes place in lovely New York. So check that out. It is going to be a jam-packed sports weekend. Yeah, so be sure to check it out. And it caps off on Monday.
So, if you want to like us on Facebook, please do it. Facebook.com/triplethreattalk. You can follow us on Twitter @triplethreattalk. Because any comment or question you have, and plus your blogs at triplethreattalk@yahoo.com and PostMaster's Falling Asleep. And of course, visit our fabulous website, triplethreattalk.com.
What's fabulous about it?
Because it's linked to the fanadvocate.com.
Yeah, there you go.
This is Big B. This is Gary, the Dr. Lockard, saying have a good weekend. Enjoy the sports weekend. This weekend is one of the biggest sports weekends of the year. Every weekend, it's going to be exciting.
Yep. And this is Kendra. You guys have a nice night. Glad to be back.
This is PostMaster Jones. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. WrestleMania, NCAA Tournament, and NASCAR's back. What more could you want? We'll see you next week, guys.
This is Big B, the 4th-time idiot week, signing off. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
For the 4th time.
I'm going to just go to sleep right here.
I know. It's like, oh.
Kendra, get in. Come on.
No.
Hey,
come on, Kendra.
Lonely girl. Lonely girl.
Good night.
I like that song.
Good night, Moon.
Good night, Moon.